Over the past 75 years, more than 10,000 chemicals have entered our food supply, but the EU allows just 300 additives. At Thrive Market, we prioritize quality, banning over 1,000 ingredients found in conventional grocery stores. Our Healthy Swap scanner helps you find better versions of your pantry essentials without the junk, dyes, or fillers, and everything is delivered right to your doorstep. So shop at a grocery store that actually cares about your health at thrivemarket.com/get started for 30% off your first order and a free $60 gift.
Well, hello, everyone. It's your girl, Gabrielle, from A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Gabrielle Crichlow. I'm the owner and director of A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. Welcome to a brand new episode of Hot Topics. So if you are new to the show, you have no idea what we're about. So this is the show where we talk real talk about things in our purview. So things like education, things like employment, physical health, mental health, or anything else that is steamy. We like to take that one topic and do a deep dive into it. So today is a special live because normally we don't live stream these. These are usually pre-recorded, but today I am live streaming because coming up on this Thursday, December 16th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are gearing up for Homeschooling 101, which is a virtual panel that is coming up. And while I talk about that, I am going to put up my little banner here. Right, so there's still time for you to register for the panel. So if you want to learn about homeschooling, it's going to be broken down into several steps, and it'll be an awesome educational experience for you. And I encourage you to take advantage of that. It's totally free and it is online. So it's going to happen on Thursday, December 16, 2021, depending on when you're watching this, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I encourage you to sign up for the workshop while you still have a chance. And if you so happen to be watching this on the replay, you can go to our YouTube channel, which you are right now. If you're watching this, you are watching this on our YouTube channel already, and look for the replay to the panel, and the panel will be available online on our YouTube channel as well. So today, our topic is about homeschooling, right? Because that's what this whole thing is about. It's about homeschooling, and I have a guest with me who is going to talk about her homeschooling journey. I am very much looking forward to that. And her name is Dominique Gates. And I am honored that she is doing this live stream with me. And I look forward to hearing her story. And I look forward to you guys hearing her story as well. And this is also a special episode because this is an interactive episode. So I encourage you, if you have any questions or comments, I encourage you to type them in the chats, and we will get to as many of those questions as we can. So you type them in the chat, and when we get to your question, we'll put it up on the screen and we'll address it to the best of our ability. So this is an interactive episode, so I encourage you to participate. I encourage you to ask questions and make comments, because once you put it in the chat, we will see it and we will address it. So my guest today, I already said her name. Her name is Dominique Gates, and I am going to tell you about her. So who is Dominique Gates? Let me tell you about her. So she is first a child of God, raised by two awesome parents named Terry and Darlene Wilson, who taught her the ways of God And now she is blessed to be a wife to a wonderful husband and friend named Sam Gates, a homeschool mom to three little blessings, Donovan, Gavin, and Carmyn. I hope I'm saying that right. And touched with a God given gift of educating children for over 20 years, while being an advisor for the parents in deciding the best educational path for their children. She is blessed. Yes, she is. All right, so I am going to bring her to the stage right now. Hi, Dominique. How
Hello,
are you doing?
hello. Good, good, good. Honored to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for coming. All right, so let's get right into it. So, if you can share your homeschooling journey with us, I'm going
Sure,
to pass
sure.
the baton over to you.
Yes, yes. I am honored to be on here today, to be chosen to be one of the ones that will share my homeschool journey. And it has been just that, a journey, but it's a journey that we are blessed to have and honored to have to pass this legacy of teaching on to my children. Our homeschool journey, I want to tell you first how this education of children was birthed into me through my mom, which was also a teacher, Darlene Wilson. She was also an educator of children. And that love of learning and teaching was passed down to me through her. So, quite naturally, I did go to college for early childhood education. And through that, um, I had some up and downs during my career for teaching. I've taught in all type of institutionalized teaching, private school, public school, daycares, preschools, you name it. I've been an educator for a long time. But homeschooling started when I think I was at least 3 or 4 months expecting my first child. And at that time, I could not work because of I had some complications in the pregnancy, and I decided to start helping parents educate their children. So I took in three students in my two-bedroom apartment, and I was about 4 months pregnant, I think, with my first child. And now those kids are grown and in high school. So that goes to show you how long I have been homeschooling. So, and then once my firstborn son, which is now he's 11 and a half, and he when he turned 2 years old, he was so what do you call it, outspoken, and he was talking very well, and he was at the stage where he was willing to do all the activities. He just wanted to stay busy and things like that. So I was graced with knowing a friend of mine's now. Her name is Kim Taylor. She was homeschooling her daughter at the time. She was 4 years old, and I was so impressed of um, just her intellect and the way she talked. Her little girl was only 4, but you could not tell when the little girl um, talked. You just, I mean, you just really, I loved to hear her speak. And that was a great impression from her mom and her dad teaching her, and they were homeschooling. So I did everything I could to ask her as many questions as possible. Sometimes I'm sure I I talked her ear off just trying to gather as much information as I could. But my son was only 2, and she would give me little tidbits of ideas and things that I can do with him to kind of nurture that learning in him. And at that point, I started homeschooling my 2-year-old son. At 2 years old, he was writing the first 3 letters of his name. His name is Donovan. So he was writing the first 3 letters of his name, and I was just so excited. And from then on, Kim and I would have so many conversations about homeschool. The following year, my son turned 3, and I had a second son at the time. He was a baby, and Kim decided to take me under her wings and allow us to kind of do a group. I don't want to call it a co-op, but we were doing group learning together at her house. And so I was grateful for that, because that was my training ground for homeschool and for learning more and more about homeschool at that point. And so we would meet, I think we met like 2 days a week or so. It was her family, my family, and I believe it was one more other family at that time, and we split up into groups. I had the preschool group, which is my expertise. She had the older children, and then the other parent that was there had, I believe it was 3 babies in the group, and so the other parent took care of the babies. And I'm telling you, we learned so much all together. It was a great learning experience for me. And since I was a teacher already, I really loved what I was doing. And so we continued, even though we branched off into our own areas, we continued all educating. She is still yet homeschooling her children, and I can proudly say that they are doing an awesome job with their children, and I still look to her as my mentor. And now in my homeschool journey, I have 3 children. So I started off with my 11 and a half year old at 2 years old, and now I have 3 little blessings, and we are still yet educating our children at home. Along with that, since I have been homeschooling, I love to help other parents choose the right path for their children as far as educating them as well. And so what I have done since I have been homeschooling, I have any parents that ask me about homeschooling, I open my knowledge, and I'm able to give them advice on homeschooling or whichever direction they want to go, because I realize that traditional learning may not be for all. And I also realize that homeschool may not be for everybody as well. But I look at homeschooling just like traditional education or private education. I look at homeschool as another option of education, because that's what it is. Parents, I always like to let parents know that you can always choose. The ball is in your corner, and you know your child better than anybody. You know what they can handle better than anybody. You have raised them, you have been around them, you have nurtured them to whatever level or stage they're in now. So you are able to take their education in your hands and choose the best path for you. Now, I'm not saying that all parents are able to teach. Some parents may feel insufficient in that area, but it's okay to ask for help. So in my homeschool journey, I have been able to not only homeschool my children, but help other families start their homeschool journey as well. So I have been able to help homeschool a lot of children. And like I said, some of them are grown now. One has went to the military. Some of those children are off in college now. And I am not only a proud homeschool mom to my children, but I am a proud homeschool educator and advisor to see those kids and those families still yet succeeding by the grace of God. Because it's only by his grace that we can do anything anyway. So, but I am honored to help whoever I can. And at this stage of our homeschool journey, we are still homeschooling. but I am honored to also have Gates of Learning. That's our homeschool. That's our homeschool name, as well as our business name, which we have. We have service families with their toddlers. Right now, we have Gates of Learning Tot Drop Service. Now, we've had Gates of Learning Summer Camp. We've had Gates of Learning Homeschool Co-op. And now we have Gates of Learning Tot Drop Service, which is a service that parents can bring their children while they take care of things, appointments, grocery shopping, whatever they need to do. And the kids can continue their learning even while parents are out handling business and things like that. It's also open to school age homeschool children. We offer tutoring services for school age homeschool children as well. And so we're all in the business of trying to offer different programs for whatever path of education the parents choose. We're willing to help them to gather more services and things like that for their children. So along with that, we have created a homeschool hub program in our new Maryville Community Center. And it is a program that will offer classes for homeschool children, like classes, gym classes, music classes, and art classes. And that will start in January. So we are just moving on in our homeschool journey. We don't keep our blessings of learning to ourselves, but we try to spread them into our community and into other homeschool families, traditional learning families, so that everybody can have the opportunity to choose whether they want homeschooling or traditional learning. And I just feel like the more that we talk about it and the more we put the awareness of homeschool out there, people can now understand what homeschooling is about. Because when I started homeschooling, I was not aware of all the benefits that homeschooling could be for my family. But as I learned and as I talked to more people about homeschooling that were homeschooling, then I became aware of the benefits as well. So, and I moved on and I've helped so many families. I was gracious and humble to help as many homeschool families as I can. And that's how I feel now that God has put me in a position now that I could help even more families. And so that's what we're trying to do. As our family succeeds in homeschooling, we open up our arms and open up our hearts to help even more homeschool families. So, and I give all the thanks to God, because He has gifted me with the heart of education for children. And along with that, He had my mom placed the love of learning and the love of teaching in my heart as well. Just watching her do it with so much grace and so much patience and so much love for the children that she was educating, and having those relationships with parents that she had. And I took it on. And now I get to have my own Gates of Learning center, which is a dream that me and my mom had when she was alive. We've always said that we wanted to start our own center together. And so even though she's deceased now, resting in peace with the Lord, but I get to carry on her legacy and educate children as far as the little ones and homeschooling. So we're grateful to have such a legacy to carry on. It's a big responsibility, but we're grateful to have this legacy and to carry it on so that my kids can see what benefits homeschooling can be for them as well. So that is my homeschool journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
So, can you take take us to the time where you first decided you were going to homeschool your first son, Donovan? So, what happened there that made you decide you're going to pursue homeschooling as opposed to traditional schooling?
Okay. So what happened was when I was expecting my son, my mom said this to me at that time. She was ill, but she said this statement to me, and it really had me thinking. Before my son was born, she said, "You know, you're a great teacher, but I don't want you to use all your energy in teaching other people's kids, and then you don't have um, any strength left to teach your own when you have your own." And at that time, I was expecting my first son. And I was thinking about that over and over. And then as my pregnancy progressed and things kept happening and things like that, I had decided in my mind, I didn't quite know how my husband was going to react to the idea, but I had it in my mind that I wanted to. That was a desire of mine that I hadn't voiced to anyone. I just kept it close. And I said, you know, I have a while to think about it. I'm expecting, this is my first child, so who knows what the future will hold. But I had it as a desire that I did want to homeschool, and that's when I decided. But then once my son, once he was born and he got older, and I just happened to bring the idea up to my husband. And at that time, I was not working or anything. So he was all for it. He was like, yeah, go ahead. Um, and he felt like if my son was ready for learning, then why not? So I thank God for him being in my corner as a deciding factor as well. But that's where that homeschooling thought came in.
Awesome. So, how did you learn about homeschooling? Did you talk to somebody? Did you do some research on the internet? How did you learn about the process as you were going about it?
So yes, definitely. Like I had mentioned earlier, I mentioned my good friend Kim Taylor. She was very instrumental in me learning a lot about homeschooling. I had heard about homeschooling just a tad bit when we were younger. It was looked upon as something not so good. It was not a pleasant thing to be homeschooled at that time. The only people that I knew that were homeschooled, and this was a long time ago, but the only people that I knew that was homeschooled was children that might have had some really serious health conditions and they could not attend traditional school. Or I did know about some young girls that became pregnant at a young age, and their moms took them out of the traditional school to be homeschooled um, just to keep them away from the shameful um, things that people would say, or just the peer pressure and all. So that's the only thing I knew about homeschool. But as the years progressed, when I was expecting my first child and I met my mentor, Kim Taylor, I was just impressed at her little girl that spoke with such confidence at 4 years old. And I remember we were at church, and my dad asked the little girl, um, he asked her name, and she said, "My name is," and she told us her name. I don't know if Kim minds, so I don't want to put her name out there, but She told us her name, and we were just impressed at her level of vocabulary and the way she spoke and things like that. And then my dad asked her as well, he said, "What school do you go to?" And the little girl responded, "I go to Lord and Taylor Institute." And we were like, we never heard of that school before. So I decided to ask her mom, and we're like, where is that school? And so she says, "I'm homeschooled." And we were so impressed. Like that was it. That was the drawing factor of me deciding I just absolutely have to homeschool, because this little girl, she's learning something. So, and it's wonderful. And whatever her parents are teaching her, I want to know it. So I began to talk to my friend Kim. I began to talk to her more and more and more. And I know she got tired of me some days. I remember one particular time, it was during the summer, and homeschoolers, if you know any homeschoolers that don't teach or have school during the summer, they don't even want to talk about homeschool during the summer. But I was trying my best to pull as much information out of her as possible. But she told me, "Oh, not until August, not until August." And I was just itching. I was just excited trying to get more information out of her. And as soon as August hit, I was asking more questions. But I thank God that she was available for me to talk to, because that's what, to me, that's what parents that are beginning to homeschooling, you just need somebody, not to copy or imitate them, but you just need somebody to be that mentor, or to talk to about the different things that homeschooling can offer, because it can be overwhelming. The homeschool community has so much to offer, but everything is not for everybody. And there's so many methods of teaching and just a whole lot of things that can be overwhelming to you when deciding to homeschool. But if you have at least one person to talk to, and they can explain things to you, they can break things down and help you to understand it more clearer, and have a better idea of what you want to do. And that way you can make a better decision on what's good for you and your family and your children. So yes, talking to somebody is key.
Awesome. And we just got a comment that popped up for you.
Awesome.
I'm so happy for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Gavin. That's one of my babies.
Awesome. You got a little compliment there.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. So you mentioned, it sounds like you had a divine intervention. You were planning to homeschool, you thought about it, you were talking to your husband, and then you just happened to go to church one day and run into someone that's already homeschooling.
Yes.
Like tell me what, I mean, because I'm trying to get the words out, but it's like a divine intervention that just happens for you. It just so happened that bam, here's this person in my own church that's homeschooling. Yes. So what was it like when you had that kind of revelation?
Yes, so absolutely. So, like I said, it took me some time to even think about it though, but I knew it was just, I never could think about sending my little ones to like daycare or anything like that, even though and I've always considered, I said, if they went anywhere, it has to be, somebody we know and things like that. But after I had my first child, it was a lot of circumstances that I was thinking about at the time. At the time, I was expecting my second son, and Donovan, my first son, was only 2. So I was not comfortable sending him anywhere, although I knew I had to do something because that little boy he was ready to learn. He was begging to learn. He was begging to do things to keep busy. And I mean, I've taught all ages of kids, but when I had my own son, I hadn't seen a kid so anxious to learn. I had never seen that. Not at 2 years old, put it that way. And so when I started teaching him, it was almost like I felt like I missed teaching those. So I use that as an opportunity. Okay, since we're at home, but I can still teach, so I can still get that part of me out of my system. So I really enjoyed teaching him. He enjoyed learning, and it was like a fun bonding time for me and him. We didn't do anything formal or anything like that. I found projects to do. I found activities to do. We sang songs together. We just had fun with each other. And I do think that has a lot to do with me and his relationship now. So, but I used it as our time to bond and learn together. So, and since I wasn't going much of anywhere, I had also some complications with the second son. So we were kind of like in the house all the time. So it was the perfect time for me to start homeschooling. So we took advantage of that time of being together. And instead of me complaining about having a 2-year-old and expecting another child, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of help. But the times that we were at home together, I really enjoyed them. And he really enjoyed our time together as well. So.
Awesome. See, we have a next comment here.
Oh, wow.
This isn't Gavin.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Your husband.
This is my husband commenting. Oh, thank you so much, babe.
Yeah. So cute. All right. Whoa, sorry about that. So it's you're not just homeschooling one child, you're homeschooling 3. So
3, yes.
Now we're talking different levels
yes.
and grades and personalities. And so tell us what that's like.
Okay, absolutely. So I have a 6th grader now, and that's like the start of middle school. And I have a 4th grader as well as a kindergartner. So I'm kind of, I'm just starting with one. One is almost, he's at the middle of elementary school and then middle school. And that has been very different this year. So, but I have enjoyed the journey, like, even though they have been to school. I do want to make it clear that when they decided that they wanted to go to school, we decided that, yes, we should let them try. And that was a decision that we made as parents. We thought it'd be a good idea. And they are happy now to be homeschooled. They have their times, and so do I, that we feel like, oh my goodness, should you guys be in school or should we continue this journey? But in the end, we stay prayerful and we consult God on every decision that we make when it comes to our kids. And so here we are, another year homeschooling. And COVID really helped us out. I don't know, everybody has their take on, everything that happened with COVID-19 and stuff, but COVID really blessed our household. It helped us to make some decisions very easily. So we've been homeschooling for a while. The kids, my oldest have had, I think, 2 years in public school, and my youngest son has had 1. And my kindergartner, she went to school for a few months for preschool. So, but now we're all happy and satisfied with our homeschool journey. But yeah, the different levels, and I love teaching, so that's right up my alley to be able to search curriculum and find the best fit for each child. I get to do that as a parent homeschooling. I don't have to use just one resource or one curriculum, one size fits all, which there is no such thing. And I wish there was some way that the schools would consider that, because it's so true that you can't expect a classroom full of kids to all learn from the same curriculum and all of them get it, because it just doesn't happen. And that's how your tutoring program survives, and that's how our tutoring program survives, because there's just not one size fit all. Somebody's going to need help somewhere, and so we're grateful for that as well. But yeah, and this year for my son being starting in the middle school, most of his work is independent. Of course, we go back and check and things like that, and we explain to him, okay, things are getting a little bit more serious. You know, all your work is not going to be fun. And so he's growing into realizing that he's got to be on his own for some of the work that he does, and he's okay with that. He's grown into that. So, but as far as the kindergartner, she's enjoying her work. She has fun with her work, and we let her pretty much do it with our schedules being the way it is. A lot of times she gets to sometimes do work with daddy. She loves it. And then she gets to do work with me. And if we're at the center, we have teachers there to help them. So they still get a well-rounded education. So that's how we like it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So just on this subject, can you, if you're comfortable discussing, can you talk about each of your children's learning style and how you address each learning style? Do you use a certain curriculum for one and a different curriculum for the other? You know, is one more hands-on? Is one more
Oh, yeah.
um, like more listening? Like, can you discuss the learning style of each child and how
Yes.
you address each style?
Absolutely. So, and this is the same way I do, the same process I use for my children is the same exact process that I use for my students. So, at the beginning of every school year, we do an assessment so we can see where they are. We don't take a long summer break, but we do take a break in the summer. So, you know, some information can be forgotten, or, you know, and we find out what was either forgotten or just was not clearly understood the year before by doing an assessment at the beginning of the school year, and we also do one to finish the school year at the end. So that way we keep tabs on where they are. So with my kindergartner, I knew probably when she was about 2 or 3 as well, what type of learner she was. She's definitely hands on, um, and she likes to do things more independently. So although she likes to have an audience. She likes someone to sit there and just watch her do her work or watch her do her activities. Or she'll invite someone in. She'll say, "Mom, can you do this activity with me?" Or, "Dad, can you do this with me?" So she's definitely the hands-on type of learner, and I love the curriculum that we use. I actually use 2 curriculums with her. I use the Good and the Beautiful math curriculum with her, which she absolutely loves. And then I use, I believe it's BJU. Um, what is it? BJU. Can't think of the BJU Press. I think that's what it's called. The curriculum for her reading, and her reading, her phonics, and I think it's like it just has her to do a little bit more hands-on. Even though it's reading, it has her doing a little bit more like movement and things. Only and I do like The Good and the Beautiful, but I wanted to try this one because that curriculum was given to me, and I just don't believe in moving off of a curriculum if I hadn't really tried the one I have. So we use that. And also we do, for phonics purposes, we do The Good and the Beautiful Level K Primer, which is the curriculum level that comes right before the kindergarten level. And if anybody is familiar with The Good and the Beautiful, it is an advanced curriculum. So where it would say kindergarten, if they're and what I love about it is that they give an assessment. You can give an assessment to your child to see what level they place in. So you don't have to be confused. Oh, which level do I get? Well, they give that. You can give your child the assessment and see where they place, and then you can order the level that you need wherever your child places in the assessment. And we do that with all three of our children. And we use for our fourth grader. And I want to say, along with these curriculums, I don't feel stuck to one curriculum. I use whatever resources that I feel would help my kids in whatever area they may struggle in, or they may have problems there. I look on Teachers Pay Teachers and get resources. I look on Pinterest and get resources. Wherever I can get resources to help my children, I ask other teachers. They help too. If you have some teachers in your life that will be generous enough to help, which I do have some awesome educators that is all for me, they will help and give us resources and things like that. So I've done that too. With my fourth grader, that is my, he is my, I want to say, he was the child that started reading at 3 years old. So if that can give you a little bit of info about him, I was expecting my third child when, and I've always worked with my kids from the time they start talking, pretty much. We start doing things to keep them busy, but it was always like learning activities. So he enjoyed that. But at the point in time that I was teaching him the letter sounds, he was the one that initiated the conversation and told me that he wanted to read. And at 3 years old, I didn't really think he could, but he showed me different. And I was sitting in the bed with him. I was on bed rest with my third child. And this little boy, 3 years old, started reading the book that I was trying to teach him phonics out of. So, and from then on, he loves learning. He loves to be challenged, though, at the same time. So although he is fourth grade, he's always been a level up in his reading. And he's pretty good in math as well. So the Good and the Beautiful curriculum is perfect for him. I don't try to move my children too quickly. I like for them to start any curriculum where I like them to start where they're comfortable first, because I don't believe that any curriculum or learning materials that you use should stress a child out. I believe that you should see about their confidence levels and know your children and what boosts them as far as their confidence level, and use that and then move them up as they progress. But I start at a level that they're comfortable with so that their confidence is boosted and they can move up from there. So that's kind of what I did with my fourth grader. um, my sixth grader, on the other end, um, he is definitely the type of child that just wants to do his work and get done. He is not the one to, he's not um, a bookworm or anything like that. He'll read to get his work done, he'll do his math. In areas that he struggles, even though I'm an educator, no problems asking for help. So we do get a tutor sometimes for him in math. So, and then on the other end, we allow him to help other students as well that are younger grade or younger levels, lower levels than him. We allow him to help them to kind of boost his confidence. So, and they enjoy it. They definitely enjoy the learning process that they're having right now, especially the fact that Gates of Learning is growing and now they are getting to meet new friends and things like that. So that's always fun. But definitely when you're homeschooling more than one level child, um, we do math and language arts separately, but everything else, as far as art, science, history, even some Bible lessons. This is my sixth grader's first year doing separate Bible lessons. I gave him his own devotional, which he has been doing since the summertime. He has been enjoying it. He comes and discusses different subjects with me, so we enjoy those together. And my fourth grader, he has a separate one as well. But in the summertime, we use a devotional all together. In the morning time, we wake up and we do our devotionals together, and the kids just absolutely love it. And I love that time with them as well. So that's how we deal with three different level children. Now at the center, when we're all together, we split up into groups. The toddlers are in one group and the school age children are in one group. And pretty much we all help each other, even though we're all in different levels. So if there's a child struggling in language arts and another child that's pretty good at it, they're going to be buddies, because that's what we want, a lot of positive peer interaction. So we definitely believe in that as well. And it doesn't always have to be a teacher helper. It can be a peer helping another peer. So that's how we do that.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, as you mentioned earlier, kind of alluded to earlier, there are the misconceptions about homeschooling. I think one of the biggest ones is that um, the homeschool kids, they don't really, excuse me, homeschool kids,
Socialize.
they don't really socialize. They're kind of separated from their peers, and they're stuck at home with their parents.
Yeah.
So they don't really interact with other kids their age, which is something that is built into the traditional learning system. So
Yes.
I
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
to hear your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. So we say socialization is the magic word, because I have not met a person that does not homeschool that has not asked us about, what about socialization? So, and I always laugh when I hear it, because it's almost like, I don't know if people think that we stop being like we're different because we homeschool. We're still people and we still function as human beings. And yes, all human beings need some type of socialization. But there is a benefit in homeschooling when it comes to socialization. And this is the benefit that I always tell parents, that not only in traditional education or institutionalized education, whether it be traditional, private, Catholic, whatever the method may be, wherever you send your children, they're going to be socialized. Even homeschool, they're going to be socialized. They're going to have some type of social interaction. But it's the same thing when you send your children to school and they come home as a kindergartner and they've learned a new word. And the word or words may not be what you would have taught them or what you would have wanted them to pick up. But they were socializing and they sorry, and they picked up some new words and they brought them home. And so now the question is, what type of socialization are they receiving? So in homeschool, we have a benefit that now, since we as parents are in control of our children, and I don't like to use in control, but we are guiding our children's educational path, that we can choose positive socialization for them. We can choose constructive socialization for them. So yes, we are a church. We are a church family. Our lifestyle is built around church. So my children are involved in the choir. They love music. And pretty much we've grown up in our church. So all the families that we've grown up around are there. And my children are very social with those families. Not saying that, well, that's just one way they are socialized. Another way is like my kindergartner, she's very into gymnastics. So we had her in gymnastics classes. And like my my boys are very much so interested in basketball. So we're signing them up for basketball, things like that. So, but those are all constructive ways, positive ways to make sure they get social interaction without picking up the wrong type of company. By we put them into different things that will kind of and it will help them. It will help nurture their interests. That's what I mean. So it's not only just socialization, just throw them out there and just whoever they want to talk to, they get to be social. Just send them somewhere so they can be social. And to me, this is my opinion. To me, a lot of times, this is what a lot of parents, they may feel like they don't have a choice but to send their kids to school. And it's like, I can't help it. I have to work. I have to live. I have to do what I got to do. So therefore, my kids are going to school. And in turn, because we all feel like we have to send them to school, they're going to pick up whatever is there. And it could be from another child, it can be from a teacher, it can be from anyone that they come in contact with. But I would rather, and I feel it is a blessing and an honor to be able to homeschool my children and to guide them into choosing positive interaction and positive socialization other than them being put into situations where they may not know what the best decision to make when it comes to socialization. And in turn, they may be in situations that they have to choose, is this good company or bad company? But I'd rather homeschool them and help them through those situations while they're young. And then if they want to go to school when they get to high school, I think at that point in time, or even middle school, I think at that point in time, they've learned enough from me and their dad or their parents that now we can see the benefits of our homeschool journey through them being able to make wise decisions and good choices and choose good company and things like that. I think those lessons are important to teach our kids at home so that they can make those decisions for themselves as they grow. So I think socialization should not be a big problem. It should be definitely guided by the parents until the kids are old enough to choose social interactions for themselves. So that's my opinion on socialization.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
All right. So we are starting to wind it down.
Okay.
So do you have any final advice for the viewers watching, whether here live or on the replay? Do you have any advice for anyone who's 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 interested in homeschooling? Maybe
Okay.
they were in the same situation you were, kind of dabbling in it, and but who's curious about it, about how to do it, the steps to take, or maybe they're currently homeschooling and need a refresher course. So do you
Yeah.
have any final words of wisdom?
So definitely, so I would definitely say if homeschooling has been a desire of yours, um, I'm going to tell you, like, I definitely just took a leap of faith because I didn't know, just even I didn't know. People would ask me, so are you going to homeschool all the way through high school? I don't know. So I answer them and I tell them, we are taking this one day at a time. Nobody knows what the future holds or, what decisions you're going to have to make as a family or, anything can change. And I always tell them that nothing is permanent, but homeschool is worth giving it a try. If you're considering it, if it's a desire of yours, I don't care what stage of life you're in. If you're working full time, it is still possible to homeschool. And I would say the first thing that any homeschool parent or any parent that is considering homeschool can do is reach out for help. That's the first thing that you should do. Reach out for help. It's nothing wrong with not knowing. But the worst decision that you can make when you're considering homeschool is trying to step out into it without any help. And the best decision you can make is decide what you want to do and then reach out for help from somebody that knows. And I would say, anybody that knows or is already homeschooling, they can give you a little wisdom on, the steps to take and all that, because it's different from state to state. So the first thing you have to do if your child or children are in school, I believe the same thing is required from state to state, but you can always check your state's website or its to see what the requirements are. But I think everybody has to, let the school know just by sending them a letter, a statement, and I mean one sentence statement saying that your child will no longer be a part of the of that school for the rest of the school year, or that school year, at whatever point that you decide to start homeschooling, you just send the school a nice letter saying, my child will not be finishing this school year out. And then from there, reach out to somebody that's already homeschooling. And I say it again, not to copy or imitate what they're doing, but just to get a little bit of wisdom on the choices that you have, the options that you have, and how you want. And I say research, research, research. I spent lots of hours researching different methods of homeschool to decide the method that fit me and my family. Because every method, they have so many different methods of homeschooling, and they're all different. And, one method is good for one family and another method is good for another family. These are all options of educating our children, and we want to pick the one that fits our family. You don't want to pick or imitate another family, because it may not be a good fit for your family and how your family dynamics are. So I would definitely say, write that statement to the school. Or if you are a preschooler's parent or a kindergarten parent, in a lot of states, kindergarten is not required. So you can start homeschooling without telling anybody anything in some states. So just research the requirements of your state and see what you can do. But definitely, you guys, and I make myself available for families all over. They inbox me and they ask me questions, and I am here and ready to answer any questions anybody have about homeschooling, because I love the journey that I'm on, and I want the families that are willing to at least try homeschooling, I want you to love it too. And not saying that it's some humps and bumps through homeschooling, because it is, just like in traditional schooling, but at least you know that you know what you want your children to learn. You know that you want them to succeed, and you're going to give them the best of you, the best energy you have, the best resources you have, the best of everything that you can give them, because they're yours. And nobody is going to do more for them. Nobody. You can have the best teacher in public school, and they're not going to give them more than what you can offer them, because they're yours. And you know your children better than anybody. So to anybody that's looking to homeschool, or I congratulate you, and I want everybody to succeed. But definitely homeschool is a leap of faith. You just gotta, when you think about it and you decide that's something you want to do, you just jump out on God's grace and do it. If that's your desire, you just go and do it. Reach out for help. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. You don't have to go on this homeschool journey alone. There are people such as me that will offer help, and I definitely would. My Facebook page, I have a Facebook page, Gates of Learning, and my inbox is always full of just parents just asking questions, or I'm always reaching out. I'll see a question that a parent asked or something on Facebook, and I'll inbox the parent the answer, or if I could offer them any type of help or assistance, I'm open to do that as well. So I just want to let you parents know that is even considering homeschooling, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. There's not any stage of life that you can ever be in that you cannot homeschool. So if that's a desire of yours, take that leap of faith, reach out for help, and get your kids on the right path to their education. And that's it.
So thank you so much for that. That was amazing advice. And you already mentioned your Facebook page. So I'm just going to put it up here.
There you
Oh, wait,
go.
hold on. I'm going to let it scroll at the bottom.
Okay.
I want to make this little adjustment. There we go.
There we
All
go.
right. So you guys watching right now, you can find, she's only on Facebook for the moment, but you can find her on Facebook. That is her account name there, Gates of Learning.
Mhm.
And can you briefly talk about your business? What do you offer? What are you about? All
Sure.
that good
Okay.
stuff.
So we're in Northwest Indiana in Maryville. And we, Gates of Learning, like I said, we've had all types of entities of Gates of Learning, including summer camps and things like that. But at this moment, we have opened our own, we're in the process of moving to a new location, but we have Gates of Learning Tot Drop Service. And what we offer, even though it's called Tot Drop Service, it's pretty much we are going to be based in the community center where parents come and work out and take classes and things like that. So we wanted to offer a place that they can bring their little ones so they could either go run errands, go to appointments, or work out in the facilities that we offer. But as well, they can bring, we're open to service homeschoolers that need tutoring services or things like that. So during the day, if parents know that their child needs help in a certain area, they can bring them to our center, get help, and then pick them back up after their tutoring session is over. And we also offer their homeschool hub, which will start in January as well. Homeschool hub program, we offer gym classes, music classes, and art classes on every Friday. So starting in January, we're going to be opening that new location of Gates of Learning Tot Drop Service and our homeschool hub program as well. So we're very excited about that.
Awesome. And I am excited for you. So you heard that right. So definitely, to those of you watching, take advantage of those services. Follow her on Facebook. Feel free to inbox her.
Yes.
And if you have any questions about homeschooling, or you just maybe you want some tutoring services, I know we're also tutoring.
Yes.
So we're one big family here. So definitely, if you are looking for services, I encourage you to reach out. Her social media is below.
Yes.
So Dominique, thank you so much for joining me today. I
Thank you for
appreciate
having
your
me.
time.
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm going to put you backstage. And it's just you and me, guys. All right, I'm going to put up my little banner here. And we have reached the conclusion of this episode. Thank you so much for joining us today. You are watching this episode on our YouTube channel, which is run by, again, us, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. And while you're here, I encourage you to check out the other videos and clips that are on the channel right now. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know what you thought of this episode by leaving a comment in the comment section below. And if you would like to learn more about A Step Ahead Tutoring Services, you can find us on our various social media platforms, which you see scrolling below right now. And you could also go to our website, www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And one more thing before I disappear. We are also seeking financial contributions to our crowdfunding campaign on ifundwomen.com. iFund Women is the go-to funding marketplace for women-owned businesses and the people who want to support them with access to capital, coaching, and connections. So I am going to play a small video for you that will explain more about that.
Hey there, have you heard of us? We're a small team of tutors here at A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. We believe that education and information should be accessible to everyone, regardless of income, race, or creed. We're dedicated to making this happen, but we need your help. Please consider donating to our crowdfunding campaign. No amount is too small. Your donation will allow us tutors to remain employed, offer free and low-cost services, and reach out to families nationwide. With your help, we can tackle the academic challenges of our students and the emotional, mental, and behavioral changes that result from these challenges. As a bonus, we can improve our communities in the process. Support us today. We're a for-profit company. Your donation may not be tax-deductible. Please consult a tax professional.
Yes, so any contribution you can make to the crowdfunding campaign will be greatly appreciated, and that unique link is in the description right now. All right, so you guys, that is it. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as a reminder, let me just find that banner. There we are. As a reminder, this Thursday, December 16, 2021, depending on when you're watching this, is our main events. It is our virtual homeschooling panel, Homeschooling One-on-One. So if you want to learn more about homeschooling or you just want a refresher course, I encourage you to register for the panel. The link is scrolling below, so just type that link in the search bar and register on Eventbrite. The event is free, so I encourage you to attend the event to learn more about homeschooling and to either get a refresher course or you're a complete novice and you have no idea or you just want to know what all this fuss is about. So definitely attend that panel. So again, it is December 16, 2021. It is this Thursday, depending on when you're watching this. And if you just so happen to be watching this on the replay, the panel should be up on our YouTube channel as well, so you can watch the replay of that panel as well. So I encourage you to sign up for the event on Eventbrite. Sign up for the panel on Eventbrite right now. The link is scrolling below. And if you are watching this on the replay, I encourage you to come back to our YouTube channel because the replay to Homeschooling 101 will be available on the channel. So thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you this Thursday live or on the replay. Thank you for coming, and we're done. Signing off.